building into our CRM. One is something that's been around for a little while now, and there's a lot of people dabbling in it, which is chat AI, right? Using Chat GPT and leveraging those technologies and its wisdom to basically automate and streamline texting communication, right? Any kind of communication, whether that's SMS or Facebook Messenger, email, anything that's in writing, anything that's text-based can be controlled through the control panel these guys have been working diligently on that's tied to ChatGPT. We're going to demonstrate that too. So I'm going to have Manny literally initiate a message, and then I think this will be fun. I'm going to get it on my cell phone, and then just to prove that this isn't like a magic trick, I'm going to have you guys, the audience, tell me what to respond. I'm going to type it out, and then you'll see the message come in from my cell phone, and then you're going to see the message come back. So we're going to have that thread go live, and hopefully we don't fall flat on our face like Elon Musk did with his Cybertruck, and he threw that big thing on the glass is shatterproof. He hits it, it shatters. Hopefully that doesn't happen. So that's the second thing I'm going to show you guys, and we're going to get feedback and get ideas and opinions and all that on. And then the thing that I'm really excited about is all the data that's coming in for the foreclosures and all the calls we're making is creating a tremendous amount of conversations. So we have a QA team, quality assurance team, and there's so many conversations being had every day because of our amazing team. Most of the folks that are on that team are in here. They're having a really hard time keeping up. So their job is to basically take the call recording, listen to the call, summarize it, and then put those specific fields into the CRM, the summary, and then fill in specific fields. So again, one more time, our team has been working diligently to create AI and automations to literally take the call. And just this morning, I think it was today, right, Manny, that you guys cracked the code with IQ and Josh on the calls automatically being pulled over, transcribed, summarized, and then pushed over.
Yeah, I had to work with IQ about this because our problem was the call recording is not automatically being pushed to our CRM. So
Yeah,
we created a workaround to make that happen.
yeah, which is huge, and it's brand new. So this is not gonna. I'm gonna let everybody know this is not gonna go perfect. There's gonna be bugs. We're working through a million different things right now. But I just wanted to give a glimpse of and hopefully spark some ideas and interest and kind of the direction we're headed, and then get feedback from you guys. Hey, like, hey, have you guys checked out this tool? Or hey, that reminds me of this, or go check this out, or whatever. And then we'll answer your questions and just have a discussion about all this, because this is the very beginning. This is the infant stages of this whole revolution, this AI revolution that's upon us right now. And I'm super excited about it. Hopefully you guys are as well. So just before I do a screen share and jump in here, I want to have a quick conversation. Like, is anybody in here scared of AI or think like it's going to ruin the world and we're all going to be homeless? And it's just the Terminator is a couple years away and we're all going to die. Manny, you think we're all going to die and robots?
Yeah, it's not likely, right?
That's awesome. The guy that's helping build it all and do that, yeah, he's building Skynet over here, scared of Skynet. That's awesome. So I just want to start by saying this, and I said this, and this analogy came to my mind. I discovered ChatGPT in, I want to say like October 2022. It was just, I was fortunate enough to beat the crowd to the rush where when you were signing up, you couldn't even get in because for a while there, like when you were trying to sign up for a new account, they had you on hold. So I remember by the time it got to late December and then into January, pretty much everybody knew. And we called an all hands meeting in early January 2023. And I let the whole team know, guys, this is happening. This is a revolution. And the whole world just changed, right? Like this is the dawn of a new era. And the way that I think about it, this is the way my brain looks at it. Throughout history, for many millennia now, basically, there was two classes in the world, right? You had the haves and the have-nots, right? The people that had money could afford to do pretty much whatever they wanted. And then the people that didn't have money, unfortunately, they were restrained, right? You didn't have the same luxuries, you couldn't go to the same schools, you couldn't go travel, there's a lot of things you couldn't do. You couldn't start a business, you couldn't do so many things, countless things that was the dividing factor in humanity, in my opinion, right? That was the single biggest thing, right? Because you look at rich people, you had like old people, young people that had money, you had old people and young people that didn't have money. You had different ethnicities, different parts of the world. You had all this, but the commonality, the thing that was universal, was you either had a bunch of money or you didn't have money, and that was a dividing factor in the world. Until, in my opinion, January 2023. That's when the world, for the most part, opened up its eyes and realized, even though they've been working on AI, the nerds and geeks have been working on AI for decades. Before that, Chat GPT was like the spark that ignited the flame that's turning into a roaring blaze at this point, right? And it's just going to get crazier. Moving forward, this is just my opinion, right? So take it with a grain of salt. I think that AI and technology, robotics, AI technology, will be that dividing factor, because in my opinion, there's going to be people that are going to race towards it and embrace it, and they love it and they're intrigued by it and they're going to accept it. But you're going to have these other folks that are like scared of it. They're going to stiff arm it. They're not going to adopt it. They're going to be slow to getting around to it. And to me, technology, AI, robotics is going to be a leveling. It's going to level the playing field, because how much are you guys paying for ChatGPT? Everybody has access to it. How much did you guys pay for it? Assuming you don't have a paid account, you just have a free account, it costs you nothing, right? It's free. You can literally go leverage this thing, and it's phenomenal how smart it is, right? And it's literally free. Everybody's putting it in here, free 99. Literally, you can get your hands on it. And even the stuff that does cost money, it doesn't cost millions or billions of dollars, right? It's like $100, $200. It's very affordable. You can go put that kind of money. Anybody can go put that kind of money together if they have a vision for it, right? And in my opinion, that'll be the new dividing factor, because you're going to have people that they don't have two nickels to scratch together, right? And they're going to be able to leverage AI, and they're going to be able to go make a bunch of money. They're already doing it. So it'll level the playing field. And then on the other hand, you got people that have millions or even billions of dollars, and if they refuse to adapt to technology, AI, they're going to watch this new wave of folks just come and just like blaze right past them. That's my opinion. That's kind of my my viewpoint. I could be wrong, I could be way off here, but that's just and here's the message, and this is what I told the team a year and a half ago. I'm personally not scared of AI and technology and robotics and all the things that are happening, because in my mind, the first thing I equated it to was farming, the farming industry, agriculture, right? You go back 1,000 years, or I don't know exactly when we invented the plow, but the first form of farming was like people basically digging with primitive tools, and they would it was back-breaking work. They had to manually do it. And then one day somebody got this genius idea, and they're like, I'm going to invent this thing called the plow, and I'm going to hook it to a horse, an ox, a donkey, something. I'm going to hook it to something. I'm going to make that thing do the hard work, and I'm just going to basically stand behind it, and this thing will plow this field 10 times faster than I could do it. And it's not as backbreaking. It's still hard work, but it's not as backbreaking as like a shovel and having to dig this thing up itself, right? It was revolutionary. And then you fast forward however many more years, right? And all these farmers had adopted the plow, and they're doing that with their ox or horse or whatever. And then one day some dude shows up and he's like, hey, I got this thing, it's called a tractor, right? And where you could do a very little amount of work by hand, then the plow came and it made it 10 times better. Then this thing came along, and the tractor could literally, if it took you a month to do X number of acres, you could do that whole thing in a couple of hours with a tractor, right? So that's all technology, right? As primitive as it is, a plow is technology. A tractor is technology. New technology came along, and you could exponentially get more done with less effort, right? How many farmers went out of business from picks and shovels to the plow to the tractor, right? They're still farmers now, right? 1,000 years later, we still have farmers, and they're doing more work, and they're getting more done, and the productivity is uncomparable. You cannot compare the original farmers from 10,000 years ago when we invented farming to a farmer today, right? So were their jobs lost? Yeah. You didn't need 100 men to go plow a field. You could literally just have one guy on a tractor go do that whole thing and do it way faster and more effectively, right? And those 99 other jobs, just for argument's sake and easy math, where'd they go? Well, 100 new jobs get created, right? So you have all the people that are picking the fruit or the vegetables or whatever it is, right? You got the truck drivers, you got the people working in the warehouses and factories to process it and pack it and do all that. You got people that jobs were created for grocery stores, and they're stocking the shelves, they're checkout, the cart boy, all that, right? All kinds of new jobs got created because of those technological advances, right? So that's how I look at how AI will revolutionize. It's going to displace people and work, but it's going to create new opportunities and new work as well. So really the only question in my mind is, okay, if I lose my job doing this because AI is going to do it better, faster, and cheaper, then how can I leverage that and the time savings, that something that took me 8 hours a day, it takes me 8 minutes now? Well, what can I go do with the rest of my 7 hours and 52 minutes of my time, right? And we're going to be able to find all kinds of new uses for our time. That's how I look at it. And this is what, makes me not be scared of what's happening and what's coming. I don't know if that makes sense, or if, people agree or disagree, with that, but that's how I look at it. And that's why, like, I'm one of the guys that I want to race towards this as quickly as possible and see what we can do with it. TJ said in the 40s, one farmer fed 5 people. Now today, a farmer on average feeds 120. I did not know that stat, but that's amazing. And that goes to prove, and that's because of the tractor, right? Internal combustion engine was invented, and then they're like, okay, let's turn that into, creating more things. So that's amazing. What is that? That's it's a 24x improvement, or whatever, somewhere in there. Like that's pretty.
Yeah, somewhere in that ballpark. Yeah, I just remember hearing that stat, and I was just amazed. And it was pretty much, yeah, around when the tractor came out and how they evolutionized. Every year they feed more and more people with these farmers. They're getting more and more crops, doing the same thing with less people. It's crazy.
Yeah, and creating cost effective. Like, guys, imagine if we had to have 24 farmers instead of one, because if that ratio is correct, imagine, like, our produce and our vegetables and all that's going to be 24 times more expensive, or somewhere in there, right? It's going to be a lot more expensive. So how does that relate to real estate? Why are we here? Because, what does farming have to do anything with this? So we actually farm data, right? We had an army of VAs, and I know all around the country, people in our industry would go get county data, which is the first thing I'm going to show you guys. And what they would do is literally tell their VAs, like, hey, I want you to go to the website, these different websites, and I want you to go to this page, click here, and then open up this spreadsheet. And I want you to copy paste, or I want you to take this data from here and manually import it over here one by one. I want their name, I want their address, the city, state, zip code. Like, I want all this data put in here. And right now we're still doing it, right? Because this revolution is just starting to pick up momentum. And you have, like, all these VAs coming in here and doing this repetitive, boring task. It's mundane. It's just like, over and over and over. It's the same exact thing. They're going to the website, they're grabbing this information, and then they're bringing it into the spreadsheet. So I'm going to start with this thing. This is the first thing that I'll show. And this is the data that they were basically trying to grab, guys. Like, this stuff right here is what the VAs are looking for, right? So this particular one is foreclosure data from the county, fresh county data right here. And you guys can see, like, right here, we have this from Harris County, right? And then somewhere on here, it'll have the date. You guys see this? It was filed on 6/6/24. If you look, today is 6/6/24. So this is like a fresh, set of data that came in. And this person's job, this VA's job, would literally be to be like, okay, David, Claire, James, and Linda, whatever, James, blah, 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 their address, the original principal amount, 84,000. They would literally take bits of this information and manually, and just this one record might take 5 to 10 minutes, right? So our system is literally grabbing that same information and it's doing it within seconds. So there's his name, there's the wife's name, there's the address, the city, the state, the zip, all of that, right? And there's the auction, there's all this information. And that information was published today and aggregated today by AI. So we literally grab the information, use OCR technology to convert the image into text, take that information, put it into our database fields. And then from there, we also, not only we grab the information from the county recorder's office, which I just showed, but then the AI also goes and we're able to do twice the amount of work by going here and looking at the tax assessor's office and grabbing that data too. And this thing, instead of it taking 5 to 10 minutes, and even though it can do twice as much work or 5 times as much work, it literally takes 2 or 3 seconds, as opposed to 10 minutes of work, 5 minutes, 10 minutes of work, right? So going back to that whole farming analogy, right? Here's the tractor coming through and grabbing all this information and bringing it in here, right? All of this happens like super fast. So how that helps us, our vision was that first step. The first part of the technology was we grab this information, we have it. The thing that the team's working on right now is, if I can find a record, I'll show you guys. They're tying this in like literally today as we speak. I don't know if I'm going to find one, but we're grabbing like here we go, like the actual skip trace data. So not only we grab their name and their information and all that, all the records will have the data, but it automatic. So no more taking your spreadsheet, downloading it, or uploading it to a skip trace, and then having it skip trace and then downloading that and then go upload it to the thing. As of probably like next week, it'll do everything I just showed you plus skip trace the data, and then from there it'll automatically send it over to the dialer. And to put that in comparison, like that right there is probably like 4 different people's job that this AI will be able to do within literally seconds, and do it throughout the day repetitively and never get sick of doing it and never complain and all that good stuff, right? So huge time savings on this, huge efficiency, because for the first time that I know of anyway, we'll be able to get the freshest data, get it skip trace, get it uploaded, get it called, and have the production, from our team actually working it and getting that part rolling. So that's the first thing that we worked on, that we're building and doing that. And this thing checks like throughout the day. So like as these records go live in these different counties, Harris County, right now we're doing, let me refresh my screen here and I'll show you guys. We're basically grabbing like a handful of counties from Texas, Arizona, Florida. But from here, we're going to start ramping it up, and we're going to start getting more and more counties, more and more data from it. Let me see, why the heck is this thing not? Yeah, don't tell me this thing crashed. So anyway, I think it's this thing. Who has any questions about this part of it before we go on to the ChatGPT portion of it? What do you guys think? Any suggestions off of that or questions off of that?
Chad, it looks amazing. I'm interested, does it cost you anything right now, or are you using the free ChatGPT for that?
We do have the like enterprise ChatGPT, but it's minimal. Like that is not the biggest hurdle that we're clearing right now for that part of what I just showed you is literally just the working out all the logistics of it. And the thing that kicks our butt is 2 things. 2 things has been pretty difficult for us is taking all that stuff, the county data, that's image. They literally take like a picture and scan in that physical document. We have to turn that into text. You guys remember, everybody that's been using the internet for a little while, you guys remember Google and websites that would have captchas, and before you have the images, you have to click on the images. Before that, you used to have numbers and letters that you would have to type in. So what most people didn't realize, and the guy that invented captcha, he's like a multi-millionaire now, because what he was really doing, and nobody really realized it, was hundreds of millions of people around the world were, what captchas were invented to create to prevent bots from adding information or scraping information or whatever, right? So that solves one problem, but he was solving an even bigger problem that nobody saw was getting solved. Google was on a mission to try to index the world's data, and a lot of the data was in text format. It wasn't digitized. So they started using OCR, ocular character recognition, and converting images and scans into text. But some of the stuff, like, and we had this problem too, an S would look like an 8 to the OCR, and it would throw things off, and you would have weird things happening. So what they started to do was take images, and they would put the image up there for the captcha, and then they would have humans, us, type in to get through the security. And then they would get, as soon as they had like X number of correct answers that matched, they knew, A, you're a human, so we'll let you in, and B, we know that like 25 humans all said that these are the same letters or numbers. So we were literally helping Google convert those images into text where they couldn't read them. And then that guy made a ton of money off of that. There was a TED talk about it if you guys are interested in learning more about that. I watched it and it blew my mind, and it really got my gears turning when I saw that. So that part, Noah, was like, it was way more difficult. It's not the money for ChatGPT like that, because think about it like this. Imagine if we wanted to go get 10 counties data, and it took each VA 5 minutes to do one record, and just do the math on that. If you needed to go get 300 or 400 records done today, how much manpower would you need? How much would that cost you? Versus, having the technology to be able to do it, quickly and efficiently like that. So they solved for that problem. And then the other thing was how do we validate and verify that information, make sure it's correct? And that's where we started layering on like the tax assessor's data, because now we have 2 sets of data to compare and contrast against, name, address, all this information. And so very much doing kind of like what I was just saying with what Google did with CAPTCHA. So, yeah. So yeah, that's that part of it. I can't really show you because there's nothing to show you guys as far as like the automations of how it goes to the skip trace and how it goes over to the dialers. And we are just at the phase where now that the data is starting to come in, we're automating the process of sending it to the skip tracing, and then from the skip tracing, automating it, sending it to the dialer automatically. No more like having to wait, for the humans to do it, and that whole part. Cool. So yeah, there's that part. If we don't have any questions about like the county data or any of that stuff, I'll be happy to answer any questions if you guys have it. If not, I'll jump into the next phase of it, which will be the chatbots and some cool stuff the guys have been working on there. Bagu, what's up? Good to see you.
Hi, it's good to see you too. I have a question about the county data.
Yeah.
I'm wondering, how does it work if it's a newspaper article instead of like a screen, and then if you're getting the county, you're not getting the information from the county. You are getting it from the county, but it's in a newspaper text. Is it easy to transfer it then?
Anything that's if it's an image, so there's 2 types of if it's actual text, then that can just be scraped, and that's actually a whole lot easier because there's no misinterpretations and we don't have to do extra steps to convert the file. Now, if it's, let's say it's an image of the newspaper, and
Yes.
then we would use OCR to convert the image to the letters from the image into text, make sense of that, and then place that information into the database.
Okay, That makes
So
sense.
it is doable no matter what. It could be any kind of image of
Okay.
text can be converted now, right? Have you guys
Okay.
ever seen this like I love PDF? If you go to like I love PDF, if you ever have anybody doesn't know about it, there you go. There's a gem for you right there. Go to Google, type in I love PDF, and you can take any image. Let's say, have you ever gotten a document and you're like, oh my God, this is a PDF, like, oh, this sucks, or it'll literally take that and it'll convert it into text for you within like seconds. And it's free, by the way. You literally just go use it for free. And then now that it's it converts the PDF into text format for you, you can go edit a field or add to it or do whatever you want to do. Super cool technology. I've used it a bunch. If you ever get like somebody sends you something to sign, like print this, sign it, scan it, and send it back, and you're like, no, a printer, like I'm on the run right now. Go to I love PDF, convert the PDF into text. You can literally pull out a pencil on there and draw your signature, or you can pull out a text block and like type it out like you do with like DocuSign or PandaSign or any of that stuff. And you could save it and then attach it and send it right back to them. So I've done that.
Shad, can AI handle cursive handwriting? Does it recognize that?
We haven't run into like cursive handwriting because it's always the county recorder's office data that we have is always typed. And then where there is cursive or signatures, like they always type the person's name underneath that too anyway. So we haven't really run into that being an issue.
Okay. I know sometimes judges write stuff on the documents, and I've seen that before. So maybe that's not relevant to what we're doing.
Well, I don't want to say that's not going to be a problem at some point. It's so far we haven't gotten to a point where like that has been an issue. It could be, but the other thing that I would say is give it more time, and even if it's a problem today, I'm not saying we'll solve the problem, but somebody out there has probably run into that, and they probably already either have solved it or will solve it.
Right.
And the thing about programming and technology is just how resourceful are you? Because very few of these ideas are unique, and it's like, we invented something and we just did something that nobody else has thought of or done or run into before. It's more of a question of, okay, how do we overcome this? Not can we overcome this?
Certainly not a future problem, because I think they've stopped teaching kids in school recursive handwriting. So I heard from a teacher that they don't teach it anymore. So
They don't? Yeah, well, there you go. I remember it was like a year or two ago. I'll never forget this. Like I was watching a Zoom, or I was on I think maybe it was at one of the masterminds. I forget where I was, but I was sitting there and I was listening and I'm trying to take notes, right? And I had a pen and paper and I'm sitting there and I'm trying to take notes. And I'm like, why is this going so slow? Like I can't keep up with what's happening. And then I realized, oh shit, I'm not typing, I'm writing. And like the writing is it's taking too long. And I had like this aha moment. I was like, oh my God, like I can actually, type faster and keep up much better, digitally than I can with a pen and paper, and that hit me like a ton of bricks in that moment. I was like, wow, that's amazing. Because I remember when I was first learning how to type, I hated it. And I was like, man, this is so slow. I was like pick and peck, So yeah, it's crazy how technology, changes our mindsets. So yeah. So cool. All right. So there's that portion of it. What I wanted to do is like jump into the next thing that we're working on. And then for this part, I'm going to do a quick demo of like what we were doing and how that part of it all worked before. And then I'm going to have Manny share his screen, and then he's going to show us like his part of everything. Like he's going to control the CRM part, and you guys are going to tell me what to text and how to respond. So real quick, in our CRM, basically, I just want to show you here. This right here is our QA. So just to give us some frame of reference here, leads come into our CRM. We have like all their information comes in, and then we always have the cold callers notes. you know, and they always leave like some good notes, but it's very just bullet point, you know, whatever. And then we would have QA go back and listen to the call, right? So if we had a 5 or 8 minute call, it would take them 5 to 8 minutes just to listen to the call, summarize the notes, and do all that. And then from there, come in and add these fields: the motivation, the timeline, the condition, the asking price. Like all of those fields would have to get populated, right, by the QA. They would download the recording, upload it into the CRM, and then once everything's done, then they would then at that point push that lead over, you know, and be ready to go. So I'm trying to find one here. What are these? These all say not discussed. Let's see. What is going on? So that would take like upwards of 20 minutes per call. I'm trying to find one, like, you know, where there, as you guys can see, like, you know, there's all the notes, and then there's all these fields here. And they're not many. Are these all the AI ones? Are we like actually pushing these over with AI, or is it
No, not yet.
okay? So that was them. All right. So what we did was we built this AI because our so this was Manny's part. I didn't even ask for this. These guys came up with this. We wanted to create like follow-up bots and text and chat bots, right? Like the difference between chat bots and AI bots is a chat bot you could program to basically if this, then that. If somebody says this and they answer it this way. And then AI came along and you could give way more fruitful answers, and it wasn't so repetitive. It wasn't the same exact answer every time. So Manny, if you want to share your screen, we'll do this little thing and test it out right now.
Yeah.
I've only done this test once with him, so hopefully this goes well.
Yeah. Okay. You're done.
So basically what we're gonna do is let's say like we have a lead and we're unable to get a hold of it. We want the system to kick in and like put it on a drip campaign for the next, you know, 6 months or however long it takes to get a hold of this person, right? So you put my information in there. That's my cell phone that you guys see. And you know, I'm a homeowner or whatever. I'm a prospect. And let's say just pretend like I'm not answering my phone. He's called a bunch of times and I'm just not picking up. So we have templates in here, and that's basically like just a canned template to initiate a message. So what does it say? Like it'll say, "Hey, Shad, is this still your number?" While he's doing this and I'm waiting for the text, just a tip that we've kind of learned is if you come out and be like, "Hey, Shad, you know, this is Manny from, you know, I buy houses, and I'm trying to get a hold of you to buy your house on Whispering Tree," and blah blah blah. Like a lot of those, the carriers are going to block that because they're reading that text and they're like, "Okay, this guy's trying to buy the property. He's, you know, he's marketing, like whatever." Just block it and then never even get the message. This type of message, when it's vague and it elicits a response, first of all, like the recipient's going to look at that and be like, "Who is this? Like, is this one of my friends or family? Like, who is this that they know me? And I don't have a name. I just see a number, but I don't recognize who it is." So usually they're going to respond with something like, you know, "Who is this?" or, you know, something to that effect. So now you get past the carrier's block. They don't block these type of messages. And then you go into your sales pitch or whatever. So I just got that message on my phone. It says, you know, like on my phone, it says, "Hi, Shad, is this still your number?" Question mark. So you guys tell me, somebody tell me like what to respond here. I'll type it out, and then we'll start going down this path.
Is that you, Jimmy?
Is that you, Jimmy? All right, who's Jimmy? TJ?
No clue. Just there's something out there. I was like, something random.
All right. So basically what the team's working on for this phase of it is we get like some sort of canned answer that'll initiate, you know, the system. The system, it kicks it off, it goes out. The message goes to the recipient, and then from there, when they respond, it kicks off the system. So what's really cool about what Manny and his team came up with, I didn't even ask for it, I didn't know this was possible, was Manny, you want to pull up the the interface for it? Like this is the hard part. This is like one of the things that we're figuring out is how do you train your bot? You know, what to say, how to say it, and you know, how to respond and do all that. So that's called prompting. And this is what's missing in a lot of interfaces. And this is the area where we can literally start telling the bot, you know, how to act and, you know, what to do and how to respond and, you know, all that good stuff. So this part we're working on. I'm going to do a lot of heavy lifting here to make it like user friendly and tell it basically, you know, what type of personality you have, what type of questions to ask, and you know, how to respond and do all those things. So I don't know why, but I don't see I don't see that response, my response coming back yet.
Hey, Shad, this is Bagu.
Hey, Bagu. Yes.
So this part that you're on, would
Yeah.
this be part of the calling being like in the lead manager or following through, or is this like the first contact? I missed that part.
Great question. So that other part, that interface, is because you're going to have different types of bots to do
Yes.
different type of things, right? Because one might be somebody that you haven't got a hold of yet, right? Maybe a lead came in like through cold call or through Facebook or through wherever, and
Yes.
you're trying to get a hold of them. They're just not answering. So you need to do an initial message, right? Another
Okay.
type of bot would be a long-term follow-up, right? So you've gotten the lead, you're on the phone with them, you successfully connected, but now they're saying like, hey, yeah, I'm not sure, I need to think about it, I need more time or whatever. So now you're like, okay, I want to follow up every 6 weeks or every 8 weeks or something like that, you know? So that's the part where on that other screen we're creating where you can have different types of bots with different instructions. Because if you told like, for example, if you're trying to have one bot do initial outreach and another bot do long-term follow-up, and then another one do realtor outreach, and then another one do dispo, right? But you only have one control panel and you can only give it one set of instructions, it's really hard for it to keep things straight, right? So what needs to happen is they need to be compartmentalized so that the qualification bot knows that it's a qualification bot. Its job is to qualify the lead. The follow-up bot, its job is to follow up with the lead. The dispo bot, its job is to be a dispo. Like, for example, I mean, the possibilities are endless in that regard.
Yeah, that's
But
what made me realize that. And like each step would have its own specific criteria of the bot of the next step, the current step and the following step.
yeah,
Okay.
right, exactly. And that's where, and that's the hardest part of like what we're cracking right now, is being able to compartmentalize those different you know, bots, give people the ability to go ahead and train them and teach those bots accordingly, and then have them set off by different triggers. Like, for example, let's say you change the temperature of a lead from hot or warm or whatever to like cold. It's a cold lead. And then you train the bot like, hey, every 2 months, for example, just check in and see if like anything's changed. And then, you know, when something changes with their situation, then alert me and let me know. So, yeah, I don't know. My message isn't going back through. I don't know. If
I'm
it's-
gonna try with another phone number, Sean.
Yeah, I got the message and I replied, but it didn't come back into the CRM for some reason. So
Can you resend it again, please?
my message?
Yes.
Okay. And then I saw that that lead, my fake leads assigned to Enzo. So I don't know if that needs to be. I don't think that would matter though.
Yeah, that was intentional. It's to simulate, you know, an actual lead manager. You know, uh,
Yeah, work in the lead.
yes.
Okay. So I-
Shad, I'm gonna try another number. So
I
must
have
be a
a,
phone.
yeah, I have a different second cell number too that we can try if you want to. So basically, in a nutshell here, what we're, once the CRM picks up my text message, like when that comes back in, what'll happen is it'll kick off the bots, which can be trained, and then it'll start going down the qualifications. This one, you have it on the qualification bot, right, Manny, right now?
Yeah,
Hit the
for
4
now.
pillars. So basically, it's gonna start trying to get the motivation, the timeline, the condition, and asking price, and start grabbing that information. And then what was really cool about it, which as soon as the messages go through and we can demo it, and what we were hoping to do was have those messages will start to pre-populate into each field accordingly, automatically. So the AI like has been trained to be able to place it into the right field in there. So like if we asked how many bedrooms, bathrooms, then it could be trained to populate the bedroom, bathroom count into the appropriate field and really streamline those. Again, just cutting down work and having less tasks, you know, as far as that part of it goes. So why don't we do this while Manny, while you're doing that part, I'm gonna share my screen and just jump to this this other part for the recordings. So let's do this. So here's this other one, since we're having technical difficulties with the CRM on that part. The other bot that that the team's been building right now is this. So we have a bunch of calls coming in. It's taking like forever, about 20 minutes or so on average to listen to a call, grab the recording, and then summarize it and work it. So what the team's been building is the ability to take a call, have it come in, transcribe the entire call, you know, timestamp it. So we have the call here. This is like a 2-minute 40-second, you know, call. There's the transcription for it, and then it summarizes it. The AI will automatically summarize it. So they're basically looking for, you know, 1.3 million. Their motivation is if they got the right price. The condition is 8.5 out of 10. Time frame, anytime depends on the offer. Like it listened to the call, it transcribed it, and then it picked off those specific things, right? The price, motivation, condition, time frame, occupancy, you know, anything that was discussed on the call. It obviously picks it up, it transcribes it, it timestamps it, and then it summarizes it. And then same thing as the thing I was just about to try to show you guys here. Is it'll auto grab all of this information right here, and it'll start populating it into the field. So now we don't have to go read this whole story or listen to that whole call, and it'll automatically like populate those. I'm personally really excited about this technology because the vision and the future that I see happening is we're going to be able to start listening to all the calls, not just the cold calls, but like you guys, anybody that's on the system will be able to literally have all of your calls transcribed, summarized, and then from there we can layer on more and more complexity into the technology to listen for the differences between a great call and a not so great call. So let's say like if we saw 100 deals come to fruition and close, what was it? What were the similarities between those 100 calls that became a deal and all the other calls that didn't become a deal, right? Like the AI can start picking up on that. My personal vision is to start feeding it sales tactics like tone, cadence, mirroring, all those things that we hear from sales training. Start teaching the AI to listen for those things and teach it that. And then it can actually literally start having coaching opportunities after every single call that we have, right? Whether it's a VA, a team member, a lead manager, a dispo manager, a closer call, like whatever it might be, it can literally start to dissect all of that and find patterns and look through all of that over time, little by little. And to me, like that has a tremendous upside, and it'll give us clarity into things we've never thought. Like, it's not that we can't think about it. Like, we want to listen to those things, right? Like Ali, TJ, myself, Grant, like we meet, our team meets pretty much every day. We listen to calls, we calibrate them. You guys, a lot of you have seen it. How do you can do one or two in an hour, you can do like 2 calls. How can you do every call every day over a long period of time, and then see what patterns develop and what improvements and what can be done? That's the hard part, and that's the thing that doesn't scale. And that's the future of where we really want to start taking this this part of it. We want to visualize the call recordings, like you guys have seen those call visualizations, like or music. Like the louder it gets, the bigger the waves get, the more quiet it is, or if it's dead air, it just goes flat. The AI can pick up on those type of patterns. We can look at how many words did the seller say, how many words did the caller say, did we follow the 70-30 rule, and really just start picking up on all these trends. And then the thing that's really exciting from this part of it, now that it gets transcribed and summarized and it gets taught, how many people have heard of AIR, the text to voice, voice to text technology? Have you guys seen that or heard that and seen that whole stuff? So basically what that technology is that it takes voice and it converts it to text, and then it takes text and it converts it to voice. That's what AIR and all these conversational AIs are. So what we're looking to do is take all the stuff that I just showed you and then start to convert that and train the model, so that then it can start to have conversations. It'll be conversational AI in the future, and start to speak to sellers, and then it'll listen, it'll transcribe it, and then it'll type something out, and then it'll read it, and here you go, it's having a conversation. That's the future of that part of it. But that's going to be a ways off. Like that takes a lot of work, because like we still have quite a bit to do with this portion of it. So I know I covered a lot, and I still haven't gotten this thing. I don't know, Manny, did that thing come through on that side, or the CRM just?
There was a duplicate lead shot, so can you try again?
Okay, can you share your screen? And
Yeah, I'm gonna send out a message again.
Yeah. So it turned out we did have an Elon Musk moment there with the Tesla thing. Oh, there it is. Yeah, there's my text. Where was it going? It was going into a different opportunity, into a different card.
It's a different contact shot, like with the same phone number. So it was one of our earlier tests. I forgot that existed.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. Well, I typed this as Jimmy like 100 times, so there's is this Jimmy. So let's just make sure that this thing triggers. And then, do you have it on a delay right now? How long is our delay?
Yeah, there's a delay of about 10 to 15 seconds.
Gotcha. So all that stuff can be programmed. So what the team did was basically put a delay, so you don't get a text message instantly every time. It makes it a little bit more realistic, right? Because like if me and TJ are texting and going back and forth, like I might answer a couple of them like right then, but usually via text, like you put your phone down, you do something else, you're looking away, whatever. So there's like, to make it realistic, there's like different intervals that can be programmed. It's like do one instantly, like wait 5 seconds, another one wait 30 seconds, like pretend like you're thinking, stuff like that. So now I don't know how long that was, maybe 20 seconds or whatever. You guys see that in blue, the system automatically did that. It said, and by the way, it says
Yeah, the AI got
contact, yeah. So this is Enzo. I'm reaching about the property. So grab the property address, 7908 Whispering Tree Lane, Plano. Have you considered selling? So what do I respond? What do you guys want me to respond?
Houston had some pretty good remarks. I'll get Houston to say something.
What did Houston say? I told you it was You want me to say I told you it was a one night thing?
No. It's a little late for that. No. I mean,
Oh, hold on.
say
My
say
thing
like
is gonna go down.
say like, hey, I want $1 million or something like that. Like, say
Okay.
it's not obviously, say something like obviously ridiculous.
Okay. I won $1 million. Right now it's this is where the training of it comes in, right? And that other interface is where we'll be able to start training it on how we want it to respond, right? So here's the thing, like right now, to my knowledge, no technology has the ability to know, is that house worth $1 million or not? Like ChatGPT doesn't know that, the system doesn't know that, REI doesn't, nobody knows that. That thing that I was saying that like we're working on is the next level of AI, so that it can come back and have like a ballpark idea of what the house is worth. We could tie probably Zillow into it and then put some formulas in place that says like, if it comes back at this like percentage, then answer this way, and if not, like all of this can be trained into it. But that's additional like features and layers that we have to add into it. So I'm pretty sure it's going to give something like a positive response, like, okay, that's cool, but what has you thinking about selling or something? It's going to carry the conversation forward.
That's a great goal. You can
You
want
know.
what you want.
All right, to better understand your property, could you tell me more about it? From scale of 1 to 10. So it's going for condition, on this one. So how would I rate it? So what do you guys want me to rate it?
Good. Or no, well, actually, I want to see it play out. I'm not trying to break it yet. Let's.
Oh, that's fine. Yeah, whatever. I mean, well, we are gonna break it, Houston. Like you're literally gonna go and break it
So
so that we could.
Oh no, I mean, I plan on doing that later, is what I'm saying. So like, we don't need to break it now, is what I'm trying to say. Maybe do something like 11.
Oh, well, that'll break. That'll break. I told you 1 to 10, and you're giving me 11.
Exactly. Yeah. Why not? Well,
Right.
people say that all the time.
All right, there you go. There's 11. Okay.
Oh, what about double text? Do that kind of mess it up?
That's what I was fixing to ask. Is that mess it up when you
Yeah.
get in multiple responses?
To answer that, the wait times are added to accommodate the all the messages. So if it sends two message, it will combine them into one.
Oh, smart. Okay.
I'm getting blown up right now.
I like that it kind of waits, because it makes it seem like a little bit more realistic. Like, or I don't know. I say a little bit more. Like, it makes it seem more realistic.
I missed this. Is this more of like a text, or this is an actual like call conversation you're having, or is it like you're texting that to them?
Well, that's me. Like the stuff in gray right here is just me.
Yeah.
This is my cell phone, because like Houston told me to put it's good condition and 11. So that's just what I typed. And then the blue is just the AI so far, right? We have to spend a ton of time. Like we've been building the infrastructure to be able to feed the answers into it and have different types of bots with different personalities and all that. That's customizable. So now comes the part of like telling it how to answer and basically training it, which was that other screen that earlier we were showing. How do you train your bot, right? Like how do you tell ChatGPT and how do you tell AI how to respond and how to talk to right here, right? This is the stuff that the rules and the goals and all that. This is where it gets trained, and we're working really diligently to make this way more user friendly and give it more context and help that out, because prompting is not exactly intuitive for us, right? We as humans, like this is somewhat new, so we're learning it as you guys start using it. Like Houston's on here and a handful of other people are on the system. As they experiment with it and we learn and we see how it responds and how it works, we'll start rolling with it from there. So even things like this. So if you guys see where it said like the condition good, like there it is, like it automatically will fill in specific parts of it. So from here, like we're gonna work on, do we want it to say like, good 11, out of 10 or whatever? So that way people don't have to go read a bunch of stuff. So now the question is, what has you possibly thinking about selling? So, then I'll respond with what
You called me.
you called me. Okay.
You text.
Wow, Shad, this is freaking awesome.
Oh, this is yeah.
So the training part is still to be done, right? Like we've spent all of our time working on, making it work and getting the ability to prompt it and play with it. Now we need tons of experimentation with, people being a smart ass, being 11 out of 10. And it's like, okay, well, how do we respond to that? So you guys imagine like if you hired a VA right now, right? And you're teaching that VA what to do. Like, okay, this is your job. You're going to get people that are going to be Smartenheimers and they're going to tell you 11. So when they do that, be like, okay, so there's no repairs needed. That's what you're telling me. Like confirm with them, blah, blah. So you literally just like the AI will be the same thing. We're just going to teach it and people will be able to teach their AI, their bots in our system, exactly how you would train a human VA. The only difference is this thing won't quit on us after 3 months. And you're like, oh my God, all that time I just spent teaching this thing. And I got to go hire somebody else and do it all over again. Like that's a nightmare.
Yeah, but how do you teach it? I mean, every time I talk to ChatGPT, I have to teach him again.
It's that other script. So show it one more time, Manny, the prompting engine. So on this screen right here that's about to load, this is where, what do we want the initial message? Can you show that screen, Manny, the one we just added where we have like the ability to add multiple different bots with different personalities and different objectives?
Yeah, this
Do you have
this
that? Are
one,
you able to show that? This is the
coming soon,
this is the
teacher.
page here. So you guys see how you're gonna be able to like change the name of the bots and have multiple, right? Like this one could be what we're doing right now, this little test we're doing is qualifying a lead, right? Are you thinking of selling? How much you looking for? That's a qualifier bot, right? Then you could have like over here, your second bot could be a follow-up bot. The third bot could be like a realtor outreach bot or something like that. Like you could add more and more bots in each bot. So go back to the other screen, Manny, where we can actually like prompt it. But this is where you tell it like, your name is this, and you're an investor, and you work for this company, and da 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 da. And like this is where you teach it, and it'll save. And unlike ChatGPT, although even with ChatGPT, like it saves your conversations. Like if you don't delete them, you can go back and it'll have that thread, and you can just pick up on from where you left off. The problem,
Right, but if you start a new conversation, it won't save it.
it won't remember it, but this will, and it'll tie it to that particular lead and the information in there. So that way it has the historical information as well as its instructions, like the same way you would train your VA, you would train each bot. So let's say you had 5 VAs. You had one for outreach, cold outreach. You had one for follow-up. You had one for dispo. You had one for realtor outreach. You would have 4 bots. One for that. Like each bot would be separate from itself, and each bot would have its own instructions, just like each VA would have its own instructions. If that makes sense. All right. So there's that. So thank you for clarifying. How long have you been thinking about selling? What do you guys want me to say? How long have I been thinking about selling?
Magoo, say something.
It's been a while. Why do you care? Something like snarky. So I wonder about how it was on.
Man, look at how much pent-up frustration is in the room. Everybody's like,
I'm just curious.
These are just the responses I get all day anyways,
I
man. You know
know.
what I mean? Like
Yeah.
we want it to be realistic.
so this is where, this thing hasn't been trained up enough to be all smart ass. Like we're trying to be nice to it. Like let's just get it to respond. You guys are like, don't call me anymore.
Like, welcome to America. We're all smartasses.
I mean,
but basically like from here, like you guys are right though. Like these are the type of responses. So it has like negative and positive tones, and how to respond accordingly. It just has to be trained, how to do that. Has anybody in here, just out of curiosity,
about that.
anybody? Huh?
If you're training it, so
Yeah.
then you can train. So I just had a thought. So then I remember you said something about tone and positive and negative. So you can actually train a bot to recognize the different tone and what's a realistic.
Yeah, you can give it examples and you can, and it's, you know, it's smart. So
Oh, wow. Okay.
ChatGPT, it can pass all those exams and do all that stuff. It can tell if somebody's, I don't know about being like a smart ass, like we'll have to train some of that stuff in here. This is where a lot of that portion of it all comes. But what we're working on next is, if you don't like the answer, so let's say like we don't like this answer that it gave, being
Mhm.
able to literally in the middle of the thread, I don't see it on here, but there'll be a button on here. And you can literally jump in and train it in the middle of the conversation so that it moving forward, because that other screen, the prompting, that's not friendly. Even I don't like that screen. I don't even know that the devs like that screen and that whole side of things, to be honest. But in the middle of a thread, if you can go in there and teach it, you know, how to respond more favorably the way you want it to,
Yeah.
that's way more user friendly for us, right? For us
Yes.
users and humans. So, and my pencil thing went away, so I don't know where I can delete this now.
So Shad, you're saying like when you put in, it's been a while, you could have went in there and edited and said, how long have you been thinking? How long's it been a while? You know, you could put whatever
Yes.
response you want.
Yeah, could you be more specific?
Yeah, you can just answer whatever way you want. Okay,
Right.
very cool.
Just you guys just think of a VA and how you would train a VA, right? Like imagine you hired some. That was what I was about to ask. Has anybody in here done text blasting with a VA yet? Because that's one thing like I never did. We were always cold calling and I just liked the results better. I liked how we got better answers and you know all that. So I never really messed with texting VAs and whatnot.
I haven't texted VA, so I haven't done that at all. I have no experience in that at all.
Yeah, well, like if thanks, Manny. I can remove this thing. That's where the basically like that whole training part of it comes. So we're creating this interface here as well. We could literally copy the answer that you don't like, click that like the add button, paste that in there, and then type in the answer that it should give and train the bot that way. This is way more user friendly, right? Where you can literally like in the middle of the thread teach it how to respond more favorably. So that's what we're adding, you know, into it for the training portion of it. So that's pretty much it. But Manny, did any of those fields start populating, or did I not answer some of those yet?
It did populate the condition should.
Okay, so what we're building on there from this point forward is going to be basically you know clearing this part of it up and then having the answers, getting it more concise, and then having it start adding this right here. So like as you can see, when I answered if I get my price, like that's what I would sell, and like it'll start populating the appropriate fields, and we're gonna map all those out and do all those. But I got a handful of people. We're having like 5 people be like super early adopters of this, so that we can like pretty much be guinea pigs of it and like put it out there, start testing it like we are right now, like internally, and then start testing it on some like colder leads and things like that, and then have it automatically populate here and do this whole side. But yeah, that's basically the 3 things we've been working on, and then they when they come together, it becomes really powerful. To Houston's point, when somebody says it's $1 million property, and then we're looking at it and we have the technology to be like, yeah, but this house is worth probably like 500 to 550 on its best day, then being able to ask more of those specific questions. It just doesn't have that context yet, right? Because those data signals aren't coming in yet, right? And as far as I know, nobody has those yet, those data signals coming in yet. But that is on our radar. And we've started to build that, but we put that project on ice. We're gonna build this out, get this part going, and then layer that on. So then it'll actually have an idea of what each house is worth based on comps and Zillow and Redfin, Realtor, like all those data signals coming in, and it can do calculations based off of that and what the answers are that it gives. So yeah, that's pretty much what we've been working on, what it is. So question for you guys, because I wanted this to be kind of, bi-directional and hear from you guys too. Anybody in here heard of any cool like AIs or tools or anything that like if you have, maybe drop in the chat or talk about it. I geek out on this stuff, and so does the team, and we want to go explore what's out there, what are they doing, how are they doing it, and see what we can, what we can really push the envelope on to keep improving these three AIs. I know air was the big thing, and obviously, like I know about that. Most people know about that. I haven't heard much about it. Like I don't know anybody really using it. I think because
I wonder why that is. I wonder why that is. It kind of just like teetered out. I don't know if it wasn't getting like good results or if people are still like in like the data phase, like testing it. But
yeah, I mean, I could tell you why we didn't use it. The latency was a little long. Like it would take it wasn't bad. Like it's very impressive, the technology. Like by no means am I down talking it, but you can tell that you're talking to a bot. So it wasn't quite good enough. And then a lot of it had to do with what you're looking at right now is like you have to have so much data and so much information fed into it to teach it like all the different scenarios. Like the one you just said, right? Like 11 out of 10. It's like, okay, how do you respond to that? Versus 7 out of 10. Oh, well, what needs to be repaired? What, like every one of those is going to need a different answer. And then what if they like throw decimal points in there? What if it's a bunch of what ifs? What if this? What if that? So they any company that's programming AI has to feed all that data into it. That's what made ChatGPT $100 billion company. Is all they've been working on that thing for over a decade. That didn't just come to market last year. What a lot of people may or may not know is like that's well over 10 years of work, and they've been dumping data into it, training it, working it, playing with it. Like we played with this thing just now for what, 10 minutes. They've been playing with it for 10 years. That's how it's able to pass the bar. That's how it's able to like do all these things, because it's been played with, refined. Now the crazy thing is they have hundreds of millions of users training that thing every day. That thing's getting smarter every single day, because every time you guys interact with it and every day we interact with it, it's machine learning algorithms or looking at the answers and seeing, are you asking a follow-up question? What is your follow-up question? And it's learning from all of that. So that's like the next evolution of of air, of ChatGPT, of all that. Cool. Anybody got any other questions or like any suggestions of things that we could check out? Anything you guys want to see? Feedback? I mean, really anything. I just wanted to have an open, conversation about AI. We're geeking out on it. We want to just have dialogue with you guys. Okay. Well, I appreciate you guys checking this stuff out. We've been working on that for probably about 5 weeks. Like all 3 of those is like 6 weeks, something like that. And we're going to like keep plugging away at it. So next month, I'm thinking in like July, I'll give you guys an update. Anybody that's interested can hop in. We can check it out. Obviously, like Houston, you'll know about it, a lot faster because you'll be messing with it on a daily basis, and all the team members will too. But yeah, we're having fun with it. Cool. What is that, Kevin? Oh, video AI. I'm really excited about
so I use that
this.
for like face for YouTube. So it creates a video that I prompt it and you tell it what kind of video you want. So I tried it like a history with like a history video about Colombia, and then you just prompt it and it'll create the video. like just the full video.
Really? That's cool. That's
Yeah,
cool.
it's awesome. I could be surprised with that, how it like the images and everything that it does.
Yeah, that video AI stuff is scary. There's this guy that he's making like he's I think he's already a billionaire. He's about to be a billionaire. He's talking about how in a few years Hollywood and Bollywood and all that's going to be completely transformed, where people can literally have like immersive movies and shows where you get to control the narrative and like pick what route it goes, because it's like generative and it's not like how movies are today. Like when we all go watch a movie, we all see the same story. We'll all see different stories because of AI and the capabilities of making movies and stuff like that. All kinds of amazing things are happening with AI. It's ridiculous. His name is Ahmad. So I don't know his last name, but his name is Ahmad something. If I find it, I'll send it to you guys. He's one of the guys that helped build Midjourney. If you guys haven't played with Midjourney, go check that out. That's free as well. You can create like all kinds of art and illustrations and stuff for free. You just prompt it, and it'll literally produce anything for you. It's really badass. Actually, on my Instagram, last year, I was playing with it, and I had all kinds of fake images that I had created that look really real, but they're not real. Midjourney created them. I appreciate you guys checking this stuff out. Love to get your guys' feedback and still keep interacting with you guys and keep like building this stuff up to make it really beneficial for our industry and help create efficiencies for all of us, so we can get more deals, get more insight, more data, more, right, in a more efficient and effective way. So yeah. Thank you, Stevie. I appreciate it. Thanks, TJ. I'll post with a little bit more notice next time of the updates, and we're going to dial it in and do some really cool things with it. So I'll show you guys an update for next month. It should be dialed in tremendously by then.
Fantastic. Thank you, Shad.
Thanks
Yeah.
for sharing, Shad.
Yeah, absolutely. Appreciate you guys hanging out. This was fun. All right. You guys have a great night. See you guys on the next one.
Yeah.
Good night, everyone.
Chad, that was
Yes.
good.
Bye.